What's good, YouTube fam? I greet y'all peace, positivity, most important powers to go back beyond the melanated person in America. This is a brown brother, but I need no introduction. Today I want to talk about a very deep trend that I seen. This is, I guess you could say, a response to Ant Mo the Dark Knight, aka Ant Mo Azar. I remember back up in the day when I first started watching YouTube, he did like those exposure expo, and he basically exposed the media attempt to destroy the masculine image, the masculine narrative of the black man in America. And those videos were amazing because it talked about it, right? So today I want to make a video kind of in light or the essence of how he made his videos back up in the day. I gotta go watch some of his videos. I don't know what he's doing now, but I definitely gotta go get a catched up on it. But I remember back up in the day he used to do the videos. Another YouTuber, I can't think of his name. I think it was just the Black Man or Mr. Black. It was a something channel. There's a lot of a lot of good channels going now from YouTube. But he did the same thing, and he talked about how black men need to be very careful. Young black brothers need to be very careful what narratives they watch, because they're doing what they can consciously and subconsciously to destroy our character and our narrative, right? So let's hop right into it. Today I want to make a video again in the essence of both of those brothers, in which they made the video of how the media tries to destroy. But today I want to put a spin on it and talk about a video that I don't think nobody has done. Maybe they have done it before. I don't do a lot of research beforehand. But the media or TV's effort to destroy the character, the narrative, the intellect of the young black boy and young black man. So instead of us going to more of the 18 to 25, which I really want to talk about. I want to talk about the generational set before you get to 18 or 25, right? So this is going to be like the 18 and under, how they try to destroy the narrative of the young black male. This is for, brothers and sisters to watch, especially parents who got children, and please like, share, subscribe, so let's hop right into it. You got to understand the history of TV or the history of entertainment. Malcolm X said it best, and I start off with two quotes. Malcolm X said it best. He said, only in the black community are our entertainers or quote unquote celebrities the leaders of this community. I would go as far as to say that that is both a good thing at times and a bad thing at times. It's a good thing because we actually have leaders. Those are actually waking up and becoming more conscious, like Cole and Kendrick. And I seen this next generation, following like guys like Chance the Rapper or whatever. And he seems like, he was praising God on stage. And, I don't know, is this kind of more of he's following the image of the Kanye Jesus walk type Kanye, or is he, legitimately going through his own path? But whichever it is, you see in brothers who are more conscious and aware, and not really selling out and becoming puppets. But then you got the majority of the things, which is a bad thing, because the majority of people are being puppets, and they got owners, and they got strings, right? But then I even want to go to a thing that Frederick Douglass said: it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men, or something of the court in which he said that. The media had done everything they can to destroy the narrative of a young black boy in America, the young black male in America. Even back in the day, you had books like Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Young Black Boys, and you've seen this thing happen, right? But I seen a trend going on in TV that has to be talked about. You've seen a trend in which they're trying to destroy the narrative, and the mindset and the intelligence, and just the image of the young black boy in America. Now, starting with the history of TV, you've always had comedy sitcoms reflecting the black family. Not too many dramas, not too many series shows. YouTube is changing the game because people are doing web series now, but usually it's always a sitcom. Started off with good times and move forward and so forth and so on, you know. But the son has always been the right hand of the father. You had shows like The Jefferson, in which Lionel, was the right hand of his father. You had shows in which like Theo was the right hand of his father. You had even shows as far as like Family Matters or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which began to slowly change the narrative, and they begin to kind of give you that split narrative of, we can't purely clown the young black boy or young black man, so we'll split into two characters. We'll show one that's ultra nerdy and one that's ultra cool. We still making fun of them, but it had not gotten to the dumbed down level it is now. So I would try to explain the narrative really, really quickly of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Steve Urkel. You had Carlton and you had Steve Urkel. These were both one and the same. Both were smart as heck, but both were supposed to be laughing stock. They did goofy stuff. They began to try to almost show people, like showing young black boys like, oh, you don't want to be a nerd, you don't want to be a square, don't read the books, just act cool, whatever, right? Then you had Eddie and you had Will over Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Both were cool, probably the latest guys, latest men, whatever, and everything, right? But even no matter how goofy Carlton was, he was always still the right hand of his father, always helping him out, always, you see what I'm saying, there with him. Because that, and the father always did the response because that was his son, that was his seed, that was who he was trying to grow and to make him, better than, anybody could ever imagine, right? You even had Eddie, who was supposed to be more in light of Will, but still none the same. Eddie was the right hand of his father, Carl Winslow. And they never really said that Eddie was dumb. He just didn't too much focus on everything else. He just liked the books and the sports. He was more the jock type, right? But even then, you begin to see the split narrative. Now, I'm no psychologist. I'm no sociologist. I can't explain it in the proper context and terms in which it needs to be explained. But basically, you begin to slowly see the transition of how they want to show the young black male. So they finally begin to start trying to make him the butt of the jokes here and there, here and there. Now you may say, well, Brown brother, what about Good Times? And I say I'm an old head. I go back and watch all the old shows. You say, well, what about Good Times? So I say, well, yeah, Good Times. But you gotta understand, if you go back and watch my video, that's why I'm a little upset. I'd be a little pissed off sometimes that the channel doesn't get the views and the recognition that it deserves. And I took 5 seconds out to thank John Amos from Good Times. I said I appreciate him leaving the show because he was saying that the narrative did not reflect the young black male. He was saying that they tried to keep JJ instead of that chicken hat, and JJ saying dynamite, and JJ was the butt of everybody's jokes, right? But the difference between that show is James Evans didn't put up no mess. When JJ was getting too crazy, he would say, Junior, stop all that foolishness, right? He would stop it from happening. He would stop him trying to be the butt of the joke. He would try to correct him in any way possible that he could. Again, the media, the thing tried to make the butt of the jokes, but the black father, stepped in and tried to correct his son when he saw him veering off the path in which he was supposed to go, right? That is the true essence of a father. But again, just as they're trying to destroy, or the conspiracy to destroy the young black male in America, they're also in the image of the young black boy through the attacks and through the subconscious subliminal messages of sitcoms. They also did that with the black father. You got to understand that the black son is a representation of the black father. In any sitcom or show in which the black father is present, they either make sure that the father is either non-present or wayward or drunk or something shameful, or they try to do the total opposite. They try to make sure the son is dumb as possible. They try to criminalize him, try to make him the butt of the joke. So subconsciously, not only does it attack the young black boy and his image and his narrative, right? It also attacks the black male's image in his character, in his narrative, in his essence. So you got to understand it's a game they play, right? It's chess, not checkers. They do all this strategically and intellectually to try to destroy the image of one or the other, or hopefully both. Because if they show the boy in a bad light, they will show that the father is a bad father, a bad parent, and all those are subliminal messaging. You say, Brian, bro, you take this stuff too seriously, right? But I'm gonna go show you again. I showed you the history of TV from the '70s with Lionel. I showed you James, how he tried to correct his son. I showed you the '80s and early '90s with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Family Matters. And I would even go as far now to show you after 2000, which things truly changed. You begin to see in the '80s from Family Matters, show like 227, which I forgot what the boy name was, like Richard or whatever. They never say he was dumb. They always just say he was always a good kid, and he was raised by his grandfather. You kind of see the father in the building. Lester kind of took him up on his wings in a couple of episodes and tried to correct him and always keep him on the right path because he was still a father, right? But you begin to see in the '90s again, the context begin to change. Begin to see in the late '80s, the context begin to change with Family Matters, and it's showing that the black guy, no, you don't want to be smart, don't be this nerd, don't be like him. And did I do that? He's the butt of everybody's joke. You begin to see the Fresh Prince of Bel Air with Carlton and doing all that crazy dancing to what was the name, Tom Jones or whatever, and you begin to say, you don't want to be like that. You don't want to be smart. Be a certain. So you begin to see them change the image, but it wasn't to the 2000s. It wasn't to the true 2000s. Again, we don't criticize black men on this channel. We talk about narratives and things that need to be talked about, but I have to bring it up by name because I cannot avoid the conversation because this is the basis of the entire conversation. It wasn't to the 2000s when you begin to have shows featured by black men who were comedies and doing sitcoms that you begin to see them try to not only infiltrate the mind of TV, they even begin to try to infiltrate the mind of the celebrities. Again, we're not attacking young black men. We're attacking the producers of these shows who tell them you got to be like this or your show won't be on TV. You got to understand, Red Fox left the set of the show because the producers were treating them like garbage and trash. Like, you have to do this narrative. And he was like, no, if I'm the star, if my name's on the show, I'm going to have some input. Again, you go back and even look at it then. Lamont was the right hand of his father. It was Sanford and Son, Sanford Arms. But anyway, I digress. And you begin to see in these sitcoms that they begin to attack the young black male. The first point of emphasis on the show is My Wife and Kids. My Wife and Kids was a show in which the black father was in the household, suburban, or what you call it, what you call it, suburbs. They lived in suburbs of this suburban area. Everybody was doing well. He owned his own trucking company, right? But they had the son, which is Junior, so dumbed down that he might as well have been a freaking character from Amos and Andy. They had Junior like he was so freaking dumb. Because again, it's destroying the narrative and the characteristic and the essence of the black male. They used Junior at the butt of everybody's joke and had him like he was so dumb, he was so stupid. Every 5 minutes they got to slap him upside the head because he's doing something so stupid, right? Again, to destroy the character and the essence of the young black male, using him as the butt of everybody's joke so that a young black boy sees this on TV, loses confidence, sees this and thinks that this is cool or this is legit, or just subconsciously and subliminally messes with the mind of the of somebody who's has kids with a black man. They show like the black man not being a good father, or like this is what happened if you had kids with black men. It's subconsciously or subliminally, whatever their attack is or whatever they're trying to do, trying to destroy the characteristics of the young black male, right? So they had Junior like he was so dumb, might as well have been an episode of Amos and Andy. And they used him as a butt of everybody's joke. So we begin to see slowly and surely how it began to evolve and how they begin to show the character of the young black male in the light in which they want to show it, which was false. It put the father in a bad light to show like he cannot raise his son, he cannot raise the seed next generation. It showed the black son in a bad light because like all black men, and which is a total and complete utter false lie. But they tried to show us like we all so dumb and so stupid. Then you go look at a show like, again, I hate to call these shows out by name. R.I.P. to the great uh uh um I don't even want to call the show out by name. Let's just say if you know a show that got 3 kids, Jordan, Vanessa, and baby girl. They got a great comedian who passed away. R.I.P. to the great one. And they tried to show the boy, and although Jordan was not the nephew, was just the nephew and not the son, or started to show Jordan as weak, as foul. They always referred to the boy on the show as a heathen, as a snake, as a vermin. I believe one episode they called him a coon. I mean, did everything they could to try to destroy his characteristics. They showed him. They always say that boy's soft. He weak. He's evil. He's foul. Every word that you think of, right? They did that to destroy the character of the young black boy. They made him so humane that they called him everything but a wild brute. I think one episode even had him like he was a little animal on there. I even go back and think about the Thanksgiving episode they did of the show, in which they had him like stuffed him like a turkey and tried to throw him in the oven, tried to shoot him and kill him, tried to beat him. This is like a cartoon version of like the Thanksgiving episode. They did everything they could to show the narrative of the young black boy, like almost like he was just the most dumbest, foulest, ignorant, wildest, perverted thing on planet Earth. I mean that wholeheartedly. I can't explain it no other way. They tried to make that happen for that particular character named Jordan on the sitcom show I will not mention because the star of the show is deceased. So RIP to the great one. I'll move on to the next one. This show is still going on. Went on for a minute, now it's going off now, but I can talk about it. The D.L. Hughley show. Again, we're not mentioning nobody by name. We're not criticizing because we all know that a lot of the narratives and storylines in which they told the show had nothing to do with the black narrative whatsoever. So it was those who were not us who produced them shows who put their input on it and told them this is what you're gonna do or you won't have no show, right? I believe Mr. Dick Gregory talked about the Kings of Comedy conspiracy and how they went and gave all of them a show when they were spitting truth, and then they twisted their words and twisted and gave them shows in which they had zero control of. I believe it was OG Mr. Dick Gregory who talked about that. But anyway, I digress. You look at the show there with his son, and I didn't like that show because if you go back and watch that show, they made again the son of everybody a joke. They tried to make him the foulest, the dumbest, the most perverted thing on planet Earth, right? And it showed him as if his character was always so dumb. I don't need school. I'm gonna quit school. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. It was an episode where he was like, "We don't need that, Dad. We're gonna go to hell and we're gonna have a ball." Like they were trying to show like he legit wanted to go to hell. And that's not me saying like, "Oh man, go get at you, whatever." But I'm saying from a spiritual being in essence, hell is six energies. It's everything that is dumb, ignorant, and foul. And for him to actually want to go there, they were implementing or subliminally putting in that message this is the black boy narrative, which is a false, it's a lie, but they push that. The thing that I hated most about this show, and out of all the shows that I called out, the reason why I legit wanted to call out this show, well, I'm gonna tell you one of the two reasons. One is a very private issue. If you go research where that character of that show is now, you'll understand why I took personal offense to it and why I took heart to that. What a boy is now. I can't think of his name, Michael, from that show. I'm not gonna tell you what little Michael's at now, but I personally take a little bit of bitterness to that show. But I would just talk about this show in the essence of the context and not mention nobody's personal name, right? In which they always said, "Oh, it's the boy. Don't worry about it." I remember an episode. I think the house had burnt down or like some poison in the house, and he was like, "I wouldn't go back in the house if it was just a boy in there, but the girls in there, so I'm going back in. I got you. I'm coming." And then it was the episode. He was like, "Oh, it's just a boy. Oh, just don't worry about it. Leave him there." Almost to me, them shows I just called that, particularly in the last two shows, almost were very close to almost saying that they didn't care if the boy died, almost as if they didn't care, as if they didn't love the boy, or as in they had no. Again, it shows the black father in a bad light, but in addition to that, it also shows the black boy in a bad light and shows his narrative as being the one that they concocted and screwed. I remember one episode he's supposed to have stole jewelry from a neighbor's house and his mother taking up from him just to find that he actually did steal the jewelry, almost like they tried to make him like a thief and a criminal when he didn't need it. When of course again he lived in a suburban house. They did everything they could to destroy his character and his narrative and show him in a bad light. He was like, "Oh, it's just a boy. Don't worry about it. Something else. I love the girl, but y'all can have the boy. Take the boy, please." Again, a couple of episodes they even reference almost a death like situation, which like, "Oh, we don't care if it's a boy." You see what I'm saying? So you see those happening now. Then you're like, "Well, it's not happening anymore." Yes, it's happening currently. It's two shows. Again, I'll not mention neither one by name, but it's two shows that are currently happening right now, in which it shows those two things. Last thing I want to talk about with that show, the last show I just talked about a few minutes ago, it was an episode that I did not like, and this episode just came on about a month ago. I think it was like on YouTube or something, and the main character of the show, which is the father, was talking about, yeah, my brother, my cousin, inside of, he's at license plate camp, a license plate school, and we all know the only place they make license plates is in prison. And the boy's like, "Oh wow," he just said it so pure, and it sounded so pure. It sounded like almost like the innocence of a child in which he said it. Maybe he's just such a good actor that it made it sound like that. But I took personal offense to the show. He was like, "Oh wow, Dad, I want to go to license plate school. Can I?" He said, "One day, son, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will." Almost like, "Yeah, I know you're not gonna turn out to be nothing. I know you're gonna be a nobody." That's the type of stuff that pissed me off. That's like I don't swear on this channel, but that's the type of mess that pissed me off because again, you see the narrative and the essence in which they tried to show the young black boy and trying to destroy his character. And instead of being like, "Junior, quit all that foolishness," I would rather have the OG like John Amos, like Mr. James Evans had been. He was like, I'm sure you will, because your life is gonna turn out to be nothing. Like that's some mess. That's some bull. But anyway, so you say shows not like that anymore. This is gonna be my last point. I'm wrapping up. Shows are like that right now. They're showing the young black boy in a bad light, which in turn the fathers in the household too. Sure, think about one that comes on. Is very few black sitcoms or comedy shows is on right now, or family shows. So you probably already know what I'm talking about. And they like to try to dumb down the boy, and they have dumbed him down so much that he can't make it. Or but it just they make him soft, they make him dumb down. I believe in one episode they still had him acting like he's like 16 and still believe in Santa Claus. They show him as immature. They show him in this light as almost like he's mentally underdeveloped. I don't want to use any slurs or slang for that, because I do understand that there are communities or people in which I actually have physical or mental disabilities, but they actually had him like he's mentally underdeveloped and like he's very immature. He's very dumb. They try to dumb him down. They try to make him the butt of everybody joke. And I remember even one Christmas episode, and when something bad happened, like the father tried to blame the son for it, and every single thing is like, "How dare you? Look what you did now." It's like one of those very mean or vicious things that can push the son or push any child over the edge, and so forth and so on. So again, these subliminal messages. And then there's one more show that's not as popular as the first. You probably may have never heard of it, but it's still nonetheless it came on, and I used to watch a couple episodes. And they always show the son, and the son like he was a butt of the joke, like he was so weak, like he was so dumb, like he was like something, like they always had him just like he was weak, immature. Like, and they even had an episode where there was a college fair, and they were like, "Lord, if he's the only child in the household going to go to college, Lord have mercy." Like he was so dumb he couldn't make it through college, and he said it so innocent to his peer. He said, "Hey, mom, look, they gonna give me they offered to sign me up and give me an application for they can say I can come to school here." And she was like, "No, you don't need to go here. They spelled college wrong." And on the episode they spelled college Kollegee. And he was like, "Oh yeah, they should have spelled college wrong." I was like, "Oh wow." I said he picked that up because they tried to show him his character is such a dumb life. So, oh wow, he picked it up. He was like, "Yeah, they left the D out of college." Now that's not no inappropriate joke, not as in whatever, but he legit was saying he thought like you spelled college with a D, and he thought that legit college was spelled with a K. Like he's so dumb, he doesn't understand anything, and like he just coming there just saying. So again, you try to see that they try to destroy the character and the narrative of the young black boy through sitcoms, right? And everything about it should have a moment or a part of the show, because it is a sitcom and which is a laughable moment which you can laugh at that character, right? But when the laughing at the character turns into he's the butt of 85 to 90% of the jokes, then at that particular point, that show is not bullying, but somebody who's afraid of the young black boy and what he can become, afraid of the young black male and what he can become, afraid of what the black father when he truly leads his son and helps his son and mold him into a great man. Whoever's afraid of the end result of what will happen when a young black boy becomes a young black man, he's doing everything he can to subliminally stop it, or in his mind create false realities and narratives. I guess we can watch the shows at night and sleep comfortably, knowing that his son or himself would not have to compete or be around a smart and intelligent young black male, which they're around every single day, if they open up their blind eye to see it. Or maybe they see it and they're afraid, so they try to show these subliminal and just regular downright degrading images and messages to try to destroy a young black male. So again, that was my take on everything. It's a very difficult topic to talk about, knowing that we don't criticize young black men on this channel. Again, I did not want to mention the show of the deceased just because he was deceased, and he was a great comedian and a great man. So I decided not to mention that. But each and every narrative that I did mention, some that I called by name, some that I did not call by name, I had to tell the narrative and the story. So again, we're not criticizing, we're just making you aware of it. So that when these shows come on, you can still watch it, you can still laugh at it, you can still have entertainment. I'm not stopping you, I'm not trying to be like, you can't do this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying be careful. Be careful of the shows that you let your children watch. Be careful of the narratives that you watch and digest, because all these things are laced with subliminal, unconscious, conscious, all kind of stuff messaging in it that will have you thinking a certain way, or that will have your next generation acting a certain way. So this is the Brown Brother. Peace and many blessing each and every one of y'all. I shall return. Please definitely leave a comment down here below. These videos are not that easy to make at all. It's very a lot goes into it. So definitely please leave me a comment on what y'all thought about it. So peace and many blessings. I'm on to the next one. Peace.